really secure move with it.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, you called it. Literally, it was that Inferno just being played too high, and then it retargeted like 3 times. So it was just doing everything wrong, and you talk about the zap, everything. You know, the lightning came down, and it felt like maybe Sandbox is going to be able to defend. The Inferno comes down just too high, 3 targets, no good. Mookie sees the opening, overspends on the right, baits out all the elixir on the right, then goes Evo Lumberjack on the left. Glad we were able to get a telestration online finally after this is our 8th season, I think. So pretty cool on that end. Juicy, I was happy to see that.
Yeah, I had fun. Hope you guys enjoyed the telestration. We'll continue to get better at it for these online events. Huge shout to the Kalalis Cup putting it all together. And then the last thing I'm going to call out from that replay was, like, in the beginning of that push, the defensive lightning dropping down from Sandbox there. Like, he did it, but Moogie lightning blocked. Like, he tried to hit the Giant, the Prince, and the Mega Minion, because he knows, as long as I take out the Mega Minion, my Inferno Dragon will reign supreme. But Moogie got the Lumberjack down, which made it so the lightning was going to hit the Giant, the Prince, and the Lumberjack, which allowed the Rage to drop and keep the Mega Minion alive. It was insane. What a great play from Moogie there.
Which allowed the Evo Lumberjack to be in cycle once he had baited out the elixir on the right-hand side, so he could take the left-hand side, and then he drops a Prince behind it. It was just, I mean, it's funny because, like, that's the exact thing that we see with Moogie with Royal Giant, right? He looks exactly at what has happened, what's gone wrong. Like you said, Juicy, anyone else probably would have zapped that left-hand side to try to save the tower, but then you're playing a losing game still. Instead, he looks at the macro understanding of what is going on and goes, all right, I think I figured this out. Let me go try it out now. And he absolutely did. So already getting some great matchups here in our quarterfinal. I can't even speak because I'm excited about it. We got Gens Aslan versus Lucas. We got Ruben versus Sub. We got Mo versus Moogie. And now we have Arden Toas waiting to see who it's going to be against retired, a basic no-name, or Katashian, one of the oldest vets in the game. So Moogie, Mohammed Light will be happening on match number 7, so don't change your dials as we get through our 4th match of the day. We're going to be going to Retired and Katashian, and this is interesting because Kita is a person that we have not seen a lot of over the last couple of years. We obviously saw him a lot more back in the teams phase, but he did show up last month, and you know, he's been showing up a lot in the CRL scene here in 2025. Didn't go the way he wanted last month. He ran into Sub, was 2-1'd by Sub, sent into the lower bracket, and then ran into Mohammed Light. So it was a one-day affair for Katashian last month. We'll see if he can make things last a little bit longer. And then Arden Toa is showing up. Really excited about Arden. Excited to see, you know, where he's at. A guy that has been, I don't want to say boom or bust, but just like a little bit more up and down than he probably wants to be. Needs to find a little bit more consistency. One of my favorite players, one of my favorite rookies in the history of CRL when he was a rookie, but now we need to see if he can kind of put it all together that he's become a vet. And I know that he still streams, I think, almost daily in the evening, so definitely still putting in the work.
Awesome.
Juicy, when you talk about someone like Retired, you know, what do we do here? You've got basically no accomplishments to your name in the CRL level. I think you said that he had gotten to the top 250, which is 100 points on the CRL leaderboard back in 2023, which, you know, as you were saying, not easy to accomplish, but a lot of people got to that number.
Yeah, I mean, Retired is someone that I've definitely seen his name a lot over the years. On Rail API, he has no accolades. Maybe it's because he has like different accounts. He doesn't have like a official professional profile or whatever it may be. But either way, I mean, for us, this is a complete rookie, someone we've never seen in an event like this before. We have a little bit of information on the left side. Slovakian wildcard has emerged as one of the biggest surprises of competition, ready to shake it up in the bracket and prove anything but done. I love it. And it looks like we're going to be seeing a deck that he's played 10 games with recently. He's won all of them. I think this is going to be... No, this isn't the deck I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a P.E.K.K.A. Gob Giant after seeing the bomber, but looks like it might be actually Electro Giant for retired with the Spirit Empress.
We're going to see you running this for the next week. If it goes well, let's go, Spirit Empress. I heard there was a bug with her for a little bit. It seems like that bug was fixed. It was something about no matter how much elixir you had, the unit that was supposed to be played was always the ground unit. I actually never saw that interaction. I never had an issue with it. So I don't know if that was just rumblings on the internet, but she did get a buff, an HP buff and an attack speed buff. Still, the usage has gone down quite a bit. It's a really unique card. I really love the idea behind it. I don't know if it needs like one more piece to make it a little stronger, or if then it just becomes broken. I'm not sure, but as of right now, Retired seems to be happy with it in this, what looks like a E-Giant deck.
No E-Giant bridge here. Interesting. He decides to go in the back. I don't mind this, especially as he's continuing to try and figure out what he's exactly playing against. But historically, Kitty Ashian's deck doesn't really have ability in it. So I maybe would have liked to see it actually at the bridge in that situation. Not a huge fan of the Spirit Empress either. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe I guess he could have delayed it slightly. But either way, gonna do a good job of defending the Golden Knight. But E-Giant not breaking through because he does have ability. This deck does have the Tesla variation. This is interesting.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as you about that Spirit Empress. They snipe over the middle. And there's the E-Giant bit bridge to protect. Bomb being on top of the Magic Archer. Juicy, what's the synergy with the Spirit Empress? Is it just to go over the middle and because she has a long range, you can maybe snipe buildings, and maybe you don't have, like, you don't have to have the NATO, or you don't have to have the lightning, one of the spells? Maybe he still has both.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that historically the Phoenix has been used to try to snipe over the river, but like you said, it does have a much larger range, actually. So maybe that is what we'll see. Maybe we'll see a Spirit Empress over the river trying to snipe the Tesla with the E-Giant tower. I think the other thing about Spirit Empress is simply the versatility. Obviously, E-Giant decks mainly use Boulder nowadays, but a lot of the time you end up seeing a Knight being played to have a tank, so Spirit Empress can kind of fill that role in a way, as well as fill the role of the air unit. But I don't know. It seems like Retired is really going to be struggling to break through with the E-Giant, which has kind of been the problem ever since Evolution's been out of the game, and this King Tower division is not going to make it easier.
No, sir, it is not, and the E-Giant played low to defend against the Goblin Drill with the late dash from the Golden Knight from Katashian. Gets a lot of damage in on that right-hand side. Makes E-Giant cross the bridge with basically no HP, but now we're seeing a real push. We should see a second Tesla come down, even if it's necessary. I'm not sure if it will be. There it is. And that will help clean up the Spirit Empress as well. She should get one shot on the tower, but you never know with these new cards and their interactions, but that's the whole point of the attack speed buff. Gets one shot in. 2459, 2411 are the two HPs on Katashian's towers. 1824 is the lowest on Retired as we see Kita try to go left-hand side.
Like the E-Giant guy here, Tesla up high, Golden Knight gonna react and try to do some damage. Lightning deciding to go after the tower instead of the Tesla, which I think is pretty valid. Boulder trying to get locked on the tower with the tornado. Look at one shot as it hits the guards. All of a sudden we have a tied game with 25 seconds left.
And obviously the lightning damage is a huge factor here. Drill comes in a little late on the barrel, or excuse me, a little late on the barrel. The bomb was already there. I think a little damage came in. 1678, 1857. That E-Giant gets turned back around. And there's the lightning. He just got to make something happen.
Oh my gosh, the tornado from Retired prevents the Magic Archer tornado from locking on, and it's just simply over. Kita with no direct damage, the Lightning doing just enough, and Retired taking game number 1 in his rookie debut.
I mean, I love that he stayed in it. Am I crazy to think that Kita was like a little lulled into a false sense of security there?
Yeah.
Was he just? I feel like he wasn't playing aggressive enough for the whole like triple elixir. He was just like on his back foot, like casually defending, casually sending in drills. I didn't see any like lunge for the victory there.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, he went in with some drills. I think the biggest thing for him there is maybe not that. Maybe you just couldn't like make anything happen because when you're going in same lane as Electro Giant, it's really hard to get the Magic Archer at the bridge. I mean, you saw at the end there, he tried to go for it, but the bowler's always there blocking the lane. The Barbarian Barrel coming through. The drills were really easily controlled by the bowler, the Barbarian Barrel. I don't know. Maybe it's too late, but maybe you have to switch lanes in that situation, or maybe you just need to lock down your defense a little bit more. He wasn't quite the damage lead as you said, but a couple bowler hits, a couple lightnings on the tower, one Spear Empress connection. It ended up all kind of accumulating until the point where he was evened up. One more lightning got the damage lead, and then at that point it was too late.
And he did try to go opposite lane, but he gets kited by the E-Giant over the middle, as you were pointing out. Nice kite there from the E-Giant just to keep the focus where Retired wanted it to be. And, as you know, and as all E-Giant players know, you are playing the full 5 minutes most of the time. Unless you take that tower, you are always still in it as an E-Giant player. If you're a minor control player or, even like a Beatty type player and you see that you're just way too far behind, they have all the answers. But E-Giant, you get that right bowler lineup, you get a good lightning connection in there, someone gives you just a little bit too much spell power or spell value, and you can steal those games in the final moments. And I really like that from this rookie, we saw him just go, all right, we're still in it. Slow and steady wins the race, and it was kind of an anticlimactic ending, but probably not for Retired. He's probably stoked. His game plan worked, right? Took damage early, kind of felt things slipping a little bit, snuck some good damage in, and then just kind of evened out and took control of the game. Really like what I saw there. And you know what, Juice? How do you feel about that E-Giant deck? You've played all the best E-Giant decks out there. Where does that one fall in your ratings right now? Does it look interesting to play, or do you think it just found itself in a good spot?
Yeah, I mean, really well said on everything there, and I do like the looks of the deck. I mean, I honestly haven't played much with the Spear Empress. It seems really expensive for the value that it provides, but I think it did a decent job this game of acting as a small ground tank for the Gold Knight when necessary, applying pressure. We never got to see it over the river to try to snipe on the Tesla, which makes sense. It is pretty expensive when you're trying to get that E-Giant Boulder lightning push, but you have to give it a try, and I'm really, really happy, not only with how Retired played, but also his demeanor that match. Despite being down so much damage, he really did a great job of really staying calm, collected, and I don't know, he just played like he always had a chance to win, which he obviously did. He barely, just at the very end, was able to get that damage lead. Really well played.
He's also trying to rock the Ian 77 meta, playing in bed. Thor did it last month, Ian did it last month, and it really worked out for him. So we got Retired here playing from the comforts of his own boudoir. As Katashian is trying to bounce back here in game number 2.
All right, another great Cannoneer deck. We have a Berserker as well. Already loving the looks of this quick cycle log bait deck. And it's another situation where Retired's got the Cannoneer. This time with the Mother Witch, though. This Mother Witch maybe can make a bit of a difference despite not having any elixir for the Golem Build left lane right now.
Crazy how that 2 elixir Berserker, even against Cannoneer, is able to get some good damage in. Left unattended.
Yeah, it's a little bit tankier than people realize. I mean, the fact that it can survive a Fireball at a 2 elixir card is pretty wild.
1776, already the lowest tower on the board, as Retired here is going to deal with. I mean, when you're running against a deck like this, if you're Retired, I think a lot of your first couple minutes is spent defending and getting a lot of defensive mortars out. Wow, this is an interesting deck. The Phoenix coming into the mix.
Phoenix is interesting. I don't know, maybe expecting a little bit more of an air-based deck. Don't love it. I really don't love the Phoenix.
Same, because I have seen a version of this deck out there with the Mother Witch, but it definitely does not have the Phoenix. I think it has bats.
Right, that makes more sense. Mortar does get a couple
mortar shots in.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I kind of like Kitty Ashan's version here. We saw Mugi play this deck with Triple Spirit. I think the Berserker instead of one of the Spirits It's just a small little tank. It's one more elixir, but I think it's gonna basically help out a lot in this match, especially versus the skeleton, the mother witch, you name it. Whereas a spirit would really struggle.
Yeah, I think it just kind of cleans up the variability on interactions, right? We saw Mugi pull off perfect Ice Spirit, Fire Spirit plus Bee Spirits. Now, as you just saw with that Cannoneer crossing the bridge, Cannon Cart crossing the bridge, it's just like, all right, I can just play with the 1-2 elixir moving card. I don't have to think more about it. And here we go, defensive mortars coming down. Always sucks when you have the defensive mortar with your Evo mortar, but Retired kind of recognizing where the cycle was at, that Evo barrel coming along with where we're at elixir-wise in terms of ticking into overtime. 1939 going to be the lowest tower on the board for Kita. 932 for Retired, who is one game up in this best of 3.
This is really interesting. Evo Skelly going down, forces up the shooting for the Evo Mortar takes down its second Dark Op, and here comes another Mortar at the bridge. I assume we'll see Skelly ability early. Nope, he's going to wait. But now, arrows do come out finally on the Dark Op. He's been saving it the entire game just to try to break through for this push. But as he's pressuring, the down blow comes through, and he's doing so much damage.
I know there's two things, but I understand why he's not doing them. I don't know if the arrow is not coming out for the whole game was a good choice or a bad choice. I don't think that's above my pay grade. But the one thing I will say is that a lot of times you need to try to catch these barrels with your goblins when you're running Cannoneer. Your goblin game can completely negate the damage, but Kita's been doing a really good job. He's only thrown a straight barrel a couple times after that first 1 or 2, and then you saw Retired try to use a gang to catch it, and then you saw Kita already changing up its positioning. So it's just a tough spot to be in, and you know, I really like what Kita did. He just was like, okay, I know what you can and can't defend. You cannot defend the double barrel, period. And then you are going to have trouble defending every other regular barrel, especially if I put it in a different spot. So I'm just going to play really calm and cool and defend. decks that are just all offense, no defense, go, go, go. I mean, I feel like that deck that we just saw had like very little defensive prowess. It is just all about relentless pressure, as we saw him do for that high from the opening bout.
I think.
Always going to be a bridge man.